How close has the Russian army gotten to Kharkiv? What's Ukraine's not-so-secret weapon for sinking Russian ships? And have you ever posted something embarrassing online? The Russian Defense Ministry can relate. This is week 117 of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. I'm Anna Belokur, reporting to you from Kyiv, and I'll be taking you through the top 3 stories from Ukraine from this week. Russian forces continue to push into the northeastern Kharkiv region as part of a new offensive that began 2 weeks ago and is reportedly led by a force of 30,000 Russian soldiers. Although Ukraine claims to have stabilized much of the front line in the region, fighting is ongoing and residents are being evacuated in huge numbers. Putin claimed on May 17th that he has no plans to capture Kharkiv as of today, but as all Ukrainians know, there's no source less reliable. The Russian military has been trying for nearly 2 weeks to capture the town of Vovchansk, which would be a strategic blow to Ukraine if it was established as a Russian stronghold. As of May 20th, Ukraine claimed to control about 60% of the town, with fighting ongoing in neighboring villages. Around 100 Ukrainian civilians remained in Vovchansk as of May 22nd, reportedly told by Russian troops that they would be shot if they attempted to leave, an act that the regional governor referred to as a hostage situation. The town is almost completely destroyed. At the time of recording, over 10,000 residents of Kharkiv Oblast have been evacuated since Russia launched its new offensive. Anxieties have swirled for months that Russia might make a push for the regional capital and Ukraine's second biggest city, Kharkiv. But as of now, the fighting is concentrated in 2 areas, roughly 10 kilometers into Ukrainian territory from the Russian border and about 20 kilometers out from the city of Kharkiv. The new offensive has reignited the discussion about Washington's ban on using American-supplied weapons to strike targets on Russian territory, with U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken reportedly speaking in support of lifting the ban after his recent visit to Kyiv. The ban prevents Ukraine from attacking Russian troops and military infrastructure with advanced American weapons like ATACMS and HIMARS, which could be game-changing for Kyiv. President Joe Biden has so far refused to lift the ban, out of fear of retaliation from Moscow. Overnight, on May 17th, Ukraine launched a massive drone attack against Russia and occupied Crimea, with Russian defense claiming that they shot down more than 100 aerial and seaborne drones. The attack targeted ports and oil refineries, including the Novorossiysk port, where Russia has moved the majority of its ships in the Black Sea fleet, following a string of Ukrainian strikes around occupied Crimea. 2 days later, on May 19th, Ukraine said that it had destroyed a Russian sea minesweeper, which is a small ship that clears the path for naval ships in waters that have been mined. In the same attack, Russia's last remaining missile ship in the Black Sea was struck, but the extent of its damage is still unclear. Although developing aerial drones has been one of the main priorities for both sides since the start of the full-scale invasion, Ukraine has also been steadily developing a fleet of unmanned sea drones, which operate in a kamikaze style, which is to say, they ram into ships and then explode. These sea drones are made in Ukraine, and there are different models operated by various military branches and intelligence agencies. They were first deployed in September 2022 and have since been used to sink minesweepers, patrol ships, and landing crafts of Russia's Black Sea fleet. Just this week, Ukraine's security service also announced that they've been able to equip some of their sea drones with rocket launchers, which would allow Ukraine to hit land targets along the coast. The latest version of the SBU's Sea Baby drone has a range of nearly 1,000 kilometers, meaning that it could hypothetically carry a rocket launcher pretty far into Russian-controlled waters. Russia recently announced that it wants to redraw international maritime borders in the Baltic Sea without consulting any other countries, only to swiftly delete the proposal after the international community responded with outrage. The draft decree published on the website of Russia's defense ministry posited that the existing borders in the Baltic, which were established in 1985, are outdated and that Russia's border in the sea should be expanded to account for unspecified modern needs, which would also change its borders with Finland and Lithuania. On the same day that the proposal was published online, Russia launched a tactical nuclear weapons exercise near Ukraine. Unsurprisingly, Finland, Lithuania, and the rest of the Baltic and Nordic countries were not thrilled with this development. Many claimed that the proposal was an escalation against NATO, with some speculating that the redrawn borders were a step towards Russia taking control of the island of Gotland off of Sweden, which would massively destabilize the region. For the most part, though, leaders pointed out the obvious. Russia can't simply redraw NATO borders on a whim, and the maneuver was likely more of a ploy to create chaos than an earnest attempt to infringe on NATO territory. The uproar was short-lived. One day after the proposal was posted on the Defense Ministry's website, it was deleted, and now the page only has a message saying, "The draft is deleted." No other comment or explanation has been offered, although several Russian outlets meekly reported that there are no plans at present to revise the borders. Despite Russia's long-standing attempts to increase its influence in the Baltic region, the full-scale invasion of Ukraine actually did the opposite. Both Finland and Sweden applied for NATO membership in 2022, with Finland joining the alliance in April 2023 and Sweden in March 2024. Nordic and Baltic countries have also increased military and political cooperation in the last few years, and are on heightened alertness when it comes to threats from the east. That's all for this week. We'll be back next Sunday with more stories from Ukraine. Your support is what makes our work possible. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to this channel. If you'd like to become a member of the Kyiv Independent community, please visit the link in the description below. I'll see you next week.